This podcast is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
You can put your fan hat on here because I know you've got real rooting interest for yourself for the College World Series Finals. But I wonder where the money's going because I thought that really the most complete team is Texas A&M. Now, the scariest team in terms of just being able to crush the ball is Tennessee. So I wonder where the money's been going on.
Well, the money is going to Tennessee, and Tennessee on the money line is minus 180 for game one tomorrow. Texas A&M is plus 140. But the interesting thing, the over and under is at 10.5. It's going to be about, I think, like you said earlier, if Texas A&M can keep the ball in the park with Tennessee, it's kind of a toss-up. But if the Tennessee bats get hot and start knocking them around, and not that I'm biased or anything, but I think, and I'm hoping that it's Tennessee's year. So I was going to try to ask you is I know you may want us both to lose, but since it's Texas A&M and Tennessee, which one would you defer to?
I'm just rooting for everybody to have fun.
If you were against the wall and had to make a pick.
I just want them to have fun, Neal. No, if I really had to pick, if I had to pick between these two teams, and you forced me to do it, I would choose Tennessee. And it has everything to do with the coaches, guys that have come from Arkansas, baseball guys through and through that I got to know a little bit. And I wouldn't mind them raising a championship trophy because I think they deserve it with the time that they've put into it. And it's more personal, I think, than anything else. I won't root for fans. Yeah. I'll root for you a little bit because we get along so well. But I think it's more about those relationships. But we'll have a first-time champion one way or the other, man. And I think it'll be a great series, too. Like, that's one thing I do like is I don't expect to see what happened last year where there were just 3 blowouts and no drama whatsoever because I think I think it'll go 3 games. I expect them to be pretty dramatic, and I expect them to be pretty tight.
Yeah, and I think it's key. I think if Texas A&M takes the first game, I think the series. I mean, I'm going to be very, very worried, and I'm going to be biting a lot of fingernails. And I'm doing a little traveling right now, and I'm actually scheduling my traveling to make sure I am somewhere where I will be able to watch these games. So it's exciting for me, and there too. But don't forget, we got a game 6 in the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. People kind of written that off with Florida when they went to 3-0, and now we're at a game 6. I think it's like only the 4th or 5th time that if the team started 0-3 that there's been a game 6. So I'm looking forward to that tonight also, and see if we might be able to get a game 7 out of that one too. Like me as a bookmaker, I'm more interested in having more games because that's more opportunity for people to bet. And with that going on, that's going to be exciting.
Well,
too.
when you're setting odds, and I know so much of it is computer based, but when you're setting odds in a series where one team gets ahead 3-0 and then the other team wins 2 in a row and goes back home, it's difficult to quantify momentum when it comes to anything in sports. Like in baseball, they'll tell you momentum gets stopped by a great pitcher the next day, and that's true. Does the idea of momentum ever come into setting betting lines?
Not as much as maybe, if the momentum is because the next game is going to be, if there's going to be a home field advantage, to the team that has the momentum on the next game, that will come into it a little bit more. Or if there's momentum because of some injuries of that nature, that will affect it a little bit more. But, I tell a lot of people, all we do is set the opening line, and then the betting public is in charge of where that line goes to based on where they put their money. And my favorite saying is that my betting line is just my opinion. And when you make a bet, all you're doing is saying your opinion is better than mine, and you're putting your money where your mouth is and hoping it comes out in your favor. And, that's the challenge with handicapping, especially something like in hockey and in baseball. And that's why we do the run line. And when it's a competitive game, that's why the run line or the puck line in hockey is always, either -1.5 for the favorite and +1.5 on the dog. just to get the betting lines to it's a more bettable and a more equitable payout when you handicap those. So, the momentum will come into play, but, if I start trying to outsmart the bettor and say, hey, momentum's here and there, it always comes back to bite me. So I pretty much stick to my modeling, and if I got the wrong price up there, the betting public would tell me really quick.
And I see some new preseason bets on the NFL, some pretty interesting ones here too. You get the idea of a team to have a perfect season plus 4,000, and on the other side, the chances of a team to go 0-17, in which you get Carolina top of the list there. Got some new preseason NFL prop bets up there, Neal, and it just kind of adds on to the ones that were on even for the last 3 months.
Oh, yeah. And, as we get closer and as we know rosters are solidifying and as things happen, we're able to put up more, of those prop-type bets. And, we're even getting a lot up for, if you go under the college football futures, if you look under there, too, I mean, we've got a number of seasons, over and under by team. And some of the Arkansas numbers got me a little nervous, but some of the fans are like, wow, it's that low. How many conference wins they're going to have, how many total wins they're going to have. And we've even got, you can pick the exact amount of games that some of the top 25 are going to win in there. And, of course, we got the Heisman Trophy picks and all of that. So, even though all of the betting action right now is basically on baseball and with the World Series and Major League Baseball and a little bit with the Stanley Cup tonight. And, hey, I got to mention, boy, with all of the headlines of the WNBA and what's happening there, boy, that is really picking up. It seems like a lot of the NBA bettors have gravitated over to the WNBA, and I love all the attention that it's getting because it brings exposure to it. But, starting about now, everybody's going to start thinking about football, and that's, I tell people all the time, we have 2 seasons in the South, football season and waiting for football season. Maybe in Arkansas we have 2 seasons, basketball season and waiting on basketball season 2 right now. So That's a lot of fun too.
I would imagine there's just a heavy amount of money that goes in once people start buying their publications. Athlon's out, Phil Steele comes out soon. Yep. Those are informational publications for people that aren't going to put money on, but I think they're even more so for people that are interested in putting money on it, truthfully, because like those books, those magazines, they don't mean anything in October. They don't really mean much 3 weeks into the regular season. It's all just preseason stuff, and I think it's for sports bettors and people in media more than anything else.
Oh yeah, and it's just the South and SEC country doesn't have a lot of NFL teams, and it's funny. Even in Arkansas, we do not have an NFL team. Although Kansas City probably is the closest thing to our home team here in Arkansas. It takes until the playoffs before the NFL gets higher than college football. Now, that's not necessarily always fair because there's a lot more college football games to bet on throughout the week and on a college Saturday than you have on a Sunday. The bets are bigger on the NFL, but as far as the volume, college football is where it's all about. And a lot of that has to do with how good Arkansas is going to be and the perception of it. And that's nervous when your local team is doing very well because you really can't fade the lines, especially if they're doing it. On the flip side, if that team's not expected to do as well, people kind of move their money around and don't put as much on there. There's not as much confidence. And it's going to be interesting to see what the betting public thinks about Arkansas once the season starts. And, and if they're not going to be the favorite in the big games, I mean, you go ahead and look at the 3 games that we got posted. Arkansas is not the favorite in any one of those. And if they can sneak up and have a really good season, some of your loyal fan bettors with the local bias can make a little bit of money. But, it's all speculative at this point till we see these teams on the field and what they're made of and what the schemes come together and how the team gels. You're really just not going to know. And I think, like you said earlier, the first 2 months are going to be very, very important for Arkansas this year and how many wins that they have, especially since the over and under is, I think, 4.5 for Arkansas this year. And that number seems a little low to me, but that's where the current odds makers have it at. And, I'm not inclined to change it unless I have a lot of money movement on it.
So I looked through the featured events here, and there's NHL specials, WNBA specials. You got specials for Copa America, UFA Euro, UFC, NFL, and darts, which you have told us about the popularity of darts betting on BetSaracen's, and now you've got the specials to prove it because World Cup of Darts is right around the corner.
Yep, and the thing that really is the catalyst for that is these events are being put on TV. It's on the secondary sports channels, but some of them do make it to ESPN. But with now all of the streaming and all of the subscription sports services, the different types that cater, to all the different sports and all the regions of the world, it's basically 24/7 that we have some sort of live action you can bet on BetSaracen. And to go along with darts, table tennis this time of year, a lot of the time, is our second most bet sport, especially during the weekday, because those matches happen every 15 minutes and people get that instant gratification of their bet settling, and then they can keep rolling along and betting on several of them. And we actually broadcast a lot of those TT Cup Elites and the Czech La Liga Pro. We actually have the live streaming and the audio of those matches, and some of those are pretty fun to watch, especially when one person in a match gets a little angry at themselves and go a little McEnroe. I've seen that a couple of times, and it's really entertaining.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.